Now on the bottom left-hand side of our window is the Properties pane. Now this Properties pane is context sensitive, so if I click on the switch or this access point, it's going to give me more information, related products, attributes, etc. about the piece of equipment that I've selected. So for example, on this R750 indoor AP, I'm going to have a little bit more information here, as well as some options to select the power source that is going to come through. We'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later. Any related products that are associated with this AP. So for example, cloud Wi-Fi licensing, zone director controller, a smart zone data plane, the network director, etc. I can get a little bit more information in here. Some of that information that I saw maybe before in the compare pane about height, width, depth, etc., power consumption, and then any messages that I have from Iris about this. So for example, we're going to get into this a little bit later, but this is asking me right now to tell it how it's going to get power. So this is one of the great features of Iris, is that it's going to do a little bit of validation to determine whether or not you have selected the appropriate equipment. At this point, I can connect this AP to this switch, and that message would go away, and it would stop barking at me and turning red about the power, because I'm going to tell it that it's going to be supplied power from this switch. But again, we'll get into that when we get more into working with the specific sites. If I click on the switch, you notice that this property pane changes a little bit. I have a little bit more information here. I've selected the 7150-24P. Gives me the little blurb here, a bit more information about the switch, as well as any other switches that are actually in this ICX 7150 line, if I needed to change it for some reason. If you notice here, as I'm scrolling up or down, I have every different model that we offer. So we may have the same model with different features enabled, and it's going to list that all out here. So as you scroll down through this properties pane, you can see the variety of switches that are available in the 7150 line. Again, any licenses, for example, the ports on demand licenses for this switch that would enable it to go from 1 gig uplinks up to 10. We also have the ability to add SFP and SFP plus transceivers. This is really useful if I'm going to have multiple switches and connect them together. The tool will do a little bit of validation for me on if I have the right transceivers and if I have the right equipment associated with it. Any power options that we have here, and for this model, the power cord that is available, it's going to choose the USA one because that's where my default is, but I could certainly add a different one if I wanted. And much like the access point, I do have related products. In here is the Ruckus Smart Zone. If you're not aware, our Ruckus Smart Zone in 511 is able to fully manage our ICX switches, and so that is an option here to add it to the bill of materials. Any accessories, if you do need additional console cables or anything like that, attributes much like the access point, and any messages that are associated with this. You would see a message here if you attach too many APs to this and actually overwent the power budget of the switch, or something sort of like that. So that's our overview on the properties pane, and then we're going to dive into actually working with a site and actually adding more equipment and working with an actual topology next.